Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin hasn't really moved much since the last update, but I thought we'll take the opportunity to wrap up the day by taking a look at the daily chart. Daily candle isn't closed yet. I think tomorrow is going to be a rather quiet day. Bear in mind the stock market is closed as well, so we don't get many impulses from the New York session. But you know, crypto is obviously running 24/7, so yeah, we could still make some progress, but it is, I think, likely to see a little bit of consolidation tomorrow after this red candle that we've seen here today. You see this engulfing red candle to the downside. This is obviously the daily chart. We are still holding above a support area, and this, in my opinion, this is an accumulation zone. It's between 61,800 and 50,697. It's completely unchanged, this support area. It's been on the chart for the last 3 months. Really consistent, this analysis on the daily chart, and the structure hasn't changed. It obviously has extended sideways, and it could even extend further sideways. I mean, essentially there is no low in place until we see a first small impulse to the upside. That has so far not happened. This here was corrective. We talked about that. This here was a corrective rally, okay, into the Monday, 1st of July high. This was corrective. So there hasn't really been that impulse that we need to see to suggest a low is in. Strategically, tactically, I mean, I think this is, as I said, an accumulation zone. Below 50,700, the structure will change, however, so you have to consider that. And as I mentioned in previous updates, so also that is sort of currently, let's say, working out, you could say. We are still watching for one more low, and I don't see this decline as completed. So just looking at the daily, in the white count here, which I follow primarily, we could get one more low directly, and then there is a potential that the low is in. I'm watching for possible support in the area around 56,200 to 55,400. And then we could start possibly the next wave up from there. It is possible, however, that this wave 4 extends in a more complex WXY structure. And the Y wave is then an ABC structure. However, this is only a scenario. Well, it would lead to a more substantial rally, but if it's only corrective, there is a high risk of going down again. And it would only be, let's say, preferred if we break above the Monday high, or the Tuesday high it was, which was formed at around 63,750. At the moment, primarily, this move to the downside, which started on the 7th of June, is seen as an ending diagonal in wave C of 4. A wave down, B wave up, C wave down, and the C wave should have 5 waves. Now let's go to the smaller time frame structure. Here you can see it. A wave down, bottomed on the 17th of April, B wave up to the 7th of June high. Yeah, and now this C wave to the downside. You also see the yellow alternative count with an AB structure, but that's not preferred at this stage. Yeah, a few questions. I did receive a few questions about this ending diagonal structure. Sometimes people have difficulties to understand why, for example, a third wave is an ABC structure. I wanted to take the opportunity to go to our Crypto Academy section on Discord that you can also access as silver and gold members. You can join, you find the link in the description if you're interested. You can either do that on the website or you can do that on YouTube. The point here is I try to make is, you know, an ending diagonal is a specific structure. It is not an impulse. So we have all these patterns here on Discord in our Elliott Wave pattern section in the Crypto Academy. There is a lot of, you know, additional educational stuff, but also, and that is key, the signals for gold members. But the ending diagonal, this is really what it's about in a downtrend, okay? You see it here. It is a 5-wave move. That's precisely what we're watching in a C wave. And if the wave 1 already starts as an ABC structure, then there is no way this can be an impulse, okay? There is no way. So it's an ABC structure in wave 1, ABC in wave 2, ABC in wave 3, ABC in wave 4, ABC in wave 5. Now in a, let's say, more traditional perspective, or from a more traditional point of view, these were often seen as ending, not ending diagonals, of course ending diagonals, no, as descending wedge patterns. However, in practice, these often don't look that neat, okay? Also in these ending diagonals, these descending wedges, often the third wave is not the longest one. Well, in practice, if we deal with these diagonals, the third wave is still often the longest, but the structure isn't changing. So it's an ABC in wave 1, ABC, ABC. So it's a 5-wave move with 3-wave corrective structures. So there's much more educational content on here, but that should, I just wanted to show you that, because a lot of people ask me about how can it be that a third wave is an ABC structure? Well, you see it here. You can find these patterns everywhere. I mean, you just look up ending diagonal in the internet. The only valid structure for an ending diagonal pattern is a so-called 3-3-3-3-3 structure. So 5 waves, and each of them is a 3-wave move. So it's quite simple, and you see it. I mean, it couldn't be clearer. Like wave 1, A, B, C, okay? The third wave looks a bit more difficult, but it's certainly not a 5-wave move. A, B, C. And then the 5th wave should also be an A, B, C. So I thought that helps if I explain that also visually, because this is where sometimes people get a bit confused. The problem is with diagonals, and this is all described on Discord, they are less reliable patterns. They are not stable patterns, because we're dealing here with, yes, 5-wave movements, but with corrective structures in the subwaves, and they tend to morph, they tend to change. So we have to be cautious when we're dealing with these patterns. They like to morph, they like to transform, they like to change. So that's basically it. We're moving down in this C wave, and the idea is, the thesis is, that in this 5-wave move down, the 4th wave topped around the 1st of July. We had an A wave down, a B wave rally, and a C wave down is to follow, okay? This is still what we're tracking here. And the standard resistance hasn't changed. I might slightly adjust it to the latest low, but it's between 61,078 and 62,884. It's possible the low is now in. I think I did say that somewhere in this region, possibly the low could form. We might get another low. I mean, it's all about an A wave, can be a 3-wave move, can be a 5-wave move. It's not entirely clear, but we should be close to like completing this A wave. Looks as if we did get another high. Whether the A wave is really a 3-wave move or a 5-wave move is not so important. What is important, well, if it's a clear 5-wave move, is rather bearish. What is important is to understand, okay, what is the resistance area? I mentioned it. And, that we should still get another C wave down. But also to understand, if we break above resistance, something more bullish might be playing out, like that yellow wave count, right? And it's not about predicting what exactly will happen. I mean, for me, this is at the moment the most probable pathway, the white count. But we also need to have a plan for the yellow count. Yeah, both are highly likely scenarios. Do you have a plan for the yellow count? Well, I have, because if I accumulate here in this area, I will take profits if we get an aggressive B wave. I'd actually look forward to that high B wave, right? Whereas a lot of people would get frustrated if we break resistance. Well, I would treat it as a signal. That's all it is. Okay, the market alone will decide, but we can read the market, understand its language, and understand, okay, if we get that aggressive B wave, then it might be time to take some profits. But we'll see what it does. I mean, as long as we hold below resistance, there is no sign of that yellow B wave. That's the update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.